This is the heaviest podcast. Let's fucking go!
Yo, what the fuck is up? It's the Heavyist podcast, weekly worship of the altar of motherfucking radness. We are returning, we've got returning champion Tom Cronin with us.
Ding, ding, ding.
Big up.
Correspondent. Stand down.
Am I the reigning champion of the Heaviest podcast?
Absolutely.
Well, I reckon. I reckon it's got to be.
I think he is. Jim's a close second, but I'm pretty sure you're the reigning champ.
You might be the reigning champion.
This is like the fifth time you've been on the show, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Part of the furniture.
Part of the furniture, mate. We got, there's some big, horrible riffs coming out, so we thought this would be a fantastic time to rope you into having a good old chinwag about some fucking noise. We've got a return from like a band that are definitely all due to our age. They have to be just near and dear to your hearts. It's something that we all just had to talk about. We've got another album from a band that have been around for a long old time, and I haven't listened to an album of theirs in years, so that was a fun check out. And then we've got some fucking
this week, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we've got a fucking moshy, deathy fucking record. We got good shit, bro. It's a good ass week. It's been great, the riffs. Tom, thank you very much for joining us, mate. We saw you recently on the old tour with Fume in Mouth. That was a bit bloody good. How did that go for you?
Yeah, well, first off, it's a pleasure to be here again. The Fume in Mouth tour was fucking so sick. It was so much fun. Like, you'd sort of like hope any time that you go out on a tour, you'd come back sort of with a high opinion of the people you've been out on the road with and like friendships for life sort of thing. And that's kind of what's happened. Like, they're all such like nice guys. It was such a really nice experience. And we were just really thankful that they sort of agreed to take us out on it. But yeah, it was a cool sort of run of shows because obviously there's the sort of like, I don't know, the buzzword at the moment or the buzz term is like hardcore kids playing death metal. Not necessarily about us. I think we escaped that because we've got two really legit like extreme metal guys in our band. Me and Jay, on the other hand, people just look at us and think they're the fucking hardcore kids.
Fucking hardcore kids.
Yeah, fucking. I saw someone today, like someone slagging off like bands that wear caps or something. I was like, what?
That's so funny, dude.
Like that was their sort of like how they categorize like a hardcore kid
bands that wear caps.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, like all the shows were like really good, and there was like a really healthy crossover at like every show. I don't know if you guys saw that specifically at Southampton, but it definitely like felt like it. It was like kind of the running thing that there was not necessarily like equal parts, but there was a really good vibe, and it was like really cool to see those like quite obviously different like people from different scenes like merging together and just like getting on.
Absolutely,
definitely.
That's the point of going on tour, right? Is to play to new people and spread your. Of course, having a fucking good time as well, but like spreading the joy and the word of your band. And so you keep playing to the same people. As nice as that is, like it's not really pushing you anywhere. So it's good you can get on bills of bands with like wider genre appeal and really sort of spread the word.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome, man. Like we always love seeing you guys. Like we've seen, every time we see you guys, you're just getting better and better, dude. It's fucking so sick, man. You guys are smashing it so hard, like, and you're definitely having a lot of fun with like some of like your in between banter. Like that was absolutely making us piss ourselves in the crowd.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
Yeah, you got to poke a bit of fun, don't you? But yeah, we're going out on a tour again, and we're now learning it's kind of like a 60% new set. So the kind words about getting better and better, guarantee you the next time you see us, it's going to be like not tight at all.
Like to reset.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Like, shit, how does this one go? Yeah.
Yeah. James regretting what was committed to tape.
Yeah, I guess you're going to be, at the moment you're just probably being able to play some of them songs in your sleep now, and then you're just going to be going in with all the fucking stuff that's a bit more teched up on the new album, and you're just going to blow yourself out. It's going to be fun, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, you can't discount like how much you rely on like muscle memory when you're playing. Like, you literally just get up on stage and it's kind of like you don't even think about it.
But, I can imagine, especially for you being a vocalist, guitarist, like that as a concept has always blown my mind. And then when I watch some of the like riffs you're playing and you're doing vocals that have different sort of timings, and I don't even know how you fucking get your head around that, but a lot of that is just drilling it into yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's like literally, I had before I started this thing, I had no idea how you could do that. Even with like Road Mutant, I really struggled to do like backing vocals, and it was like literally just like one or two words, probably just like red zone, and like I struggled to like do that like in time of the riff. But...
red tone, fuck
yeah.
Oh, shit. I always found like I did like some backing vocals in bands and stuff, and I always found the second I stepped to a microphone, I almost just let go of my guitar. Like, oh shit! What was I doing with this hat? Like,
yeah, pick one.
Let me ever do backing vocals during beatdowns because it's the only thing I could ever handle.
Did you?
Tour, yeah, man, you've just announced you're going out with Incantation, haven't you? Which is
hell yeah,
fucking cool.
Yeah, man, it's so sick, like so sick. Like they're, I mean, being a death metal band, it's hard to like not cite influence, but I feel like they were a band that we were kind of like compared to pretty early doors with the demo and stuff. And they've always just been like a big influence on the band. They're one of Jay's favorite bands as well. So to get that offer through, obviously, like we were just like, whoa, holy shit, like we made it now. But yeah, as well, like going back to what you're saying about like the playing to different crowds, like I feel like this is now going to be like a totally different crowd, because I feel like it's going to be a lot of sort of maybe like the generation before us, and hopefully the jaded ones that are going to be coming up to us afterwards going like, oh, I haven't listened to new music in about 40 years, but you lot are sick. Hopefully.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. You're going to have to change your stage banter. You're going to have to like sort of make some sort of weird references, like, don't know, any big like Al Murray fans in the crowd, like sort of like these like older dad sort of
who likes beer.
Who likes beer and curry on a Friday night. You have to like you might have to lose the baseball cap and maybe get yourself a nice wig, just so people think that you're legit.
Or just lean into the skullet.
The skullet, dude.
Bro. Do it.
That is such a powerful move. I think one day when you've truly ascended, Tom, you'll get the skullet. The skullet will just come to you naturally. I reckon you'll just wake up, like you'll have a heavy Monday night, bang on the riffs. You'll wake up Tuesday morning, you'll just be absolutely nutkinsed out.
There'll be that really like awkward in between like Mr. Burns stage though, won't there?
You just have the Larry David.
You'll leave for tour with a shaved head and come home with the full skullet, mate. It'll just happen over the course of 2 weeks.
It will.
Just if the riffs, just push it out of your scalp, mate. Just straight
like
out.
Hold my nose and
hair follicles. Yeah, just squeezing it out. Yeah.
It actually accelerates your skullet growth every sort of 5 minutes that you're wearing camo trousers.
Oh, okay.
You can top up that multiplier by adding a bullet belt, but it's risky business.
Yeah, you don't want to get a live round.
You also want to scratch the bottom of your guitar. That's always a risk. You want to protect your baby.
Yeah, that's right. Get the bullet rash.
Oh, dear.
So Gary, you went to have a look at some riffs, did you? Didn't you want to tell us about some riffs you looked at?
I did. I went and looked at a riff in Guildford, which is quite random, but
Home of the riff. Many would say home of the riff.
Home of famously home of loads of stuff, and it's not just a fucking grey nightmare. No, it's actually a place that people go to look at riffs. Apparently, I went to see Burner. You know, I felt like they're coming through town. It's like a 20-minute drive. I was like, I can't not go. It's so fucking close. So, you know, I popped down there. I got there. I was flying solo, so I was feeling a bit awkward. So I thought, I will literally try and arrive like 5 minutes before they play. Enough time to say hello to Harry, and then I'll just go and watch them play. It didn't quite pan out like that. I was sort of standing around like a lemon for about 20 minutes on my own, which is not the best. But you know, in a bigger venue, I could have got away with it, but it was a relatively small pub, so I did look a bit awkward. But fuck it was worth it, because Burner were absolutely sick, mate. That band are so good live. I mean, last time we saw them, I was obviously quite inebriated, and I had a great time. This time I was driving, I was stone cold sober, but I had an amazing time in a kind of completely different way. I just could really like absorb what was going on properly, really enjoy how fucking tight that band are, man. That band are amazing. Just killed it, playing songs off the new album. They ended with the long one at the end of the new album, which I've completely forgotten the name of, but it was just this fucking epic moment. And they played with, I think, a relatively local like thrash band, and most of the people who were in the audience, I think, had been there kind of to watch the thrash band and then sort of stuck around, and you could just see this sort of ripple around the room of people sort of slowly cottoning on to how fucking incredible Burner were and what they were actually like watching. It was really fucking cool. Harry's just got kind of a way of commanding, but he doesn't do that thing where he tells the crowd they fucking, you know, you guys are a bunch of cunts unless you like mosh and that. Like, he just has a way of kind of bringing people in a friendly way, but not like, oh, please come move forward. It's just, there's just an energy about him when he's got a microphone in his hand that just fucking works really well. They killed it, man. It was really cool. And I was home again in 20 more minutes. I was home before 11. It was fucking perfect, really. Couldn't have asked for more. More bands come and play in Guildford, please. Go to the Holroyd Arms in Guildford. It's a good little venue to come and play, so come through.
Yeah, that sounds fucking rad, man. I'm gutted I couldn't come with you. I'm glad you went out there and just looked at some brilliant riffs. If anybody's met Gary in real life at a gig, they might have observed that he physically cannot stand still, right?
Oh, it's a real problem.
Between bands, if like me and Gary pop out for a smoke or whatever, like he paces. It's just his natural demeanor. You know, I don't berate him for it anymore. It's just part of his life. So I, you know, but what is quite funny is just to think of you on your own, just pacing. Were you pacing? Are you on the pace still? I don't know, or maybe you're not.
I'm trying really hard not to. I don't know. I think I probably just like leant against a wall or something, try and look casual and cool. Hopefully, you know, people just assume, oh, that guy must be really, really cool. That's why he's here on his own.
Hell yeah.
I think in this day and age, people just, if you were pacing, people just assume you got to hit that step count or something.
Mate,
he's closing his rings, mate.
Yeah. I should start counting my steps. Fucking hell, because I reckon I'd clock some serious mileage up in a day. I do. He's right. I just sort of pace backwards and forwards. I always have done, and I have no idea why, but I've got ants in my pants, mate.
Anties in my panties.
Anties in my panties. On that note, should we talk about some riffs, boys?
Let's talk about some riffs.
I think we should.
When I first wrote this down, it got auto-corrected to "Job for a Cosby," and I just kept it there.
Job for a Cosby. Oh dear. Well, Job for a Cosby are a 5-piece technical death metal band from Arizona. Their new album's called Moon Healer, and it comes out on Friday the 23rd of February through Metal Blade Records. This is a 10-year in the making follow-up to Sun Eater from 2014, which is a fucking sick record. I like to think that most of our listeners are pretty smart and in the know, but just in case, after sort of casually inventing deathcore in 2005 with the Doom EP, Job for a Cowboy went on to become one of the most fucking awesome technical death metal bands that have kind of ever been about. Like, you know, I know that I don't want to sort of put words in the band's mouth or anything, but I always kind of got the impression that they sort of wrote the Doom EP, spawned this entire genre of music, and then were like, hang on a sec, I don't really want to be associated with that. So they went on to just push the fucking limits and just go for this absolute face-melting riff, intergalactic riff odyssey that they have kind of gone on to do. And I'm sure I'm speaking for Sonny, and I reckon I'm probably speaking for you too, Tom, when you kind of grew up on what Job for a Cowboy were doing back in the day when we all had hair and, you know, MySpace profiles and all that kind of stuff. Job for a Cowboy were one of those really important bands. And the second that I saw that they announced that this was finally coming out, I was so fucking psyched. And then it landed in the inbox, and I was just absolutely elated. Were you guys the same? Because fuck me, man, this is incredible. This record, isn't it? Bloody hell!
Yeah, it was a big drop. It was like it hit the fucking inbox like a comet, mate. It was it was a good day. It was a good day. It's been. I've had a bit of a wild time with this album. I'm pretty conflicted on it, honestly.
Really?
I love it. Yeah, the first time I listened to it, I loved it, and then the second time I listened to it, I loved it, and then I was listening to other albums. It made me sort of go back and like listen to Where Owls Know My Name by Rivers, and like
Right.
And I really like this album, but I really like this album when I'm listening to it, right? When I'm listening to it, when I'm in the throes of it, it's undeniably like a spectacle. It's groovy, it's technical, it's got all these things that keep you interested. It's impressively performed. But then after it, I don't think there's much to take away. I don't think there's like these like hooks and things like that. And maybe it doesn't need hooks, and maybe I'm sort of looking at it in that way. But when I compare it to things like, I'm just thinking about like Where Owls Know My Name and why I think that album is such a phenomenal example of what tech death can be. Like, there's so many sort of hooks and things that you do take away with that album. And with this one, I'm like, I don't feel like I do. I don't feel like there's brilliant movements inside of it, but like I couldn't tell you like what bit of what track is my favorite song, you know? Like it's really like, it's got me, this one. It's really stumped me. Like I go up and down on it every time I listen to it.
Oh wow, okay. Tom, where are you at, man? What were you saying?
Well, like I come in from quite a weird point because you were I can see why I'd assume that they would have been quite a seminal band for me.
Yeah.
But like I loved the Doom EP when it come out, really fucking loved it, and then I just sort of like dipped from it. It's not that like they released something and I didn't like it. I just never went back and like listened to what they were putting out afterwards. And I think it's because I like sort of like steered away from anything deathcore or deathcore related
Yeah.
at that age. Like I'd sort of like pivoted towards like Animosity in between The Buried and Me, and that was kind of like the trajectory for me. So like I listened to Doom, loved it. I mean, I even saw Job for a Cowboy with like Black Dahlia Murder and the Red Chord in like 2007 or something. It's fucking mad tour. Yeah, mad. And I remember really liking them, but yeah, I've just never listened to them. And then sort of like, I don't know, I think curiosity got like the better of me. So I listened to, what's the previous album called?
Sun Eater.
Sun Eater is the previous one. This one's Moon Healer. Yeah, so I listened to that and I really liked it. So then I got really hyped. Oh no, it was when they dropped the first single for this. So I then went back and listened to the previous album and just fucking loved it. And then got really hyped for this. So I was buzzing for this. And then when you sent me this, like, I'll be honest, like this is pretty much like all I've been listening to. Like,
yeah,
I fucking love it.
Man.
Yeah,
too, I'm absolutely blown away by it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, I've not really listened to much Rivers of Nile, so to me, like I'd written down, they're just sort of like in this own like microcosm of like their own sound. I didn't really have like a reference point for like what they're a part of because it obviously isn't like deathcore. Yeah.
I mean, there's 100% what Sonny's saying. There are similarities in what they're doing, but I would say like what Job for a Cowboy do, especially like on this record, is much more. It's much more of sort of a sensory overload. Whereas I think what you get from Rivers of Nile is they're kind of trying to play on a certain element of like an emotionality, almost like a sadness. Like it's very fucking heavy, and you know it's full of riffs as well, but it's much more linear. And I think like I can understand where you're coming from, son. But what I mean, we have had Rivers of Not that album for like 5 odd years, and so you've just had time and lots of repetition of listening to it for it to really seep into you. But I reckon if you kind of tracked yourself 5 listens in on Where Owls Know My Name, you probably wouldn't have been anywhere near as sold on it as you are now. Like I don't know why I feel like I'm trying to make excuses, because I just think this album's absolutely incredible, and I'm surprised that you're not as completely like lost in it as we are.
So yeah, just like to be clear, like I'm not saying I don't like it. When I'm listening to it, I think it's fucking awesome. Like I'm fully in the throes of it, but then my actual notes about the album itself are just so small, and I guess it's just because it is so sort of all encompassing, and it's like it's very sort of liquid in itself. It's absolutely. It does flow brilliantly. Like I can't like not saying I dislike anything that's going on. I'm just saying that when it's done, I'm like, I don't know which bit was the best bit, like, you know, but maybe that's not supposed to happen, you know? It isn't. Obviously, it's a type of songwriting that's so moment to moment, and that in itself is brilliant. Like, I really like the vocal delivery throughout it. Like Johnny Davey is the fucking man, and like his approach is like more like a fucking like hip hop approach to delivery. It's like Archspire, but good. You know, there is things I like about it. I'm fully like, don't want to say that I dislike this record. I'm just like conflicted somewhat.
I understand. I mean, like, generally when we're sort of prepping, I will write sort of general notes about how I feel about the album. Then I'll start digging into tracks. And when I sat down, I was like, right, I'm going to dig into tracks. So I basically just would write down a song name and then just kind of get absolutely zoned out by how fucking awesome the record was. And I never could like articulate like track by track what it was about those individual songs that I loved. All I could tell you was that I was completely sucked into it like a fucking vortex. And like one thing I've got to say is like getting the thing Coppervice to come in and play drums for Job for a Cowboy is just a match made in heaven. That's like when Real Madrid signed David Beckham, I assume. I don't really know. I don't fuck all about football. Mate, you know what I mean? Like
that is just football, like, Gary. That's completely football.
That's absolute football, mate. But like he's kind of known as just being this sort of hired gun who just kind of floats around and like, you know, like Alex Rudiger, like just kind of joins a band, does an album, maybe 2 albums if he doesn't get itchy feet, and then moves on to the next one. Kind of, but it's just the marriage of his drumming style and this band's music is just like perfect. And he's incredible and he's so expressive. And like totally agree with what you're saying about Johnny Davey. Like I reckon he's one of those vocalists who kind of maps out a cadence with like da, 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 before he actually then goes through and figures out how he can make a lyrical narrative that fits with it, and that really shows. You know, sometimes you get a vocalist who'll write a paragraph of words and then go, right, how does this fit? As opposed to really thinking about the ebb and flow of his vocals first and foremost, and it just makes the whole thing so much more like sort of have so much more movement, make it, the whole thing so much more kinetic, and I love that about it. I just think it's awesome, and I haven't even started on the bass playing. Jesus Christ! Somebody else say something before. I was just sitting for 20 minutes talking about the bass playing.
I was just going to say, like, I went into it with like a bit of trepidation because there's like with extreme music, you've obviously got like, I don't know, you've got the bands like us, you got like 200 Stab Wounds who are kind of like sticking to what once was and nudging it on like sort of like a little bit, but not much. And then you've got these like modern extreme bands. And I feel like a lot of the modern extreme bands like really fucking like heavily rely on some sort of gimmick. You know, not to slate them because they're obviously like mad, and I do actually have an appreciation for what like Lorna Shore are doing, and like Rivers of Nile. I think the reason why I may have never checked it out was because the saxophone thing was kind of like I just thought it was a gimmick.
Yeah.
Whereas these, like, they're not leaning on any sort of gimmick, and I was fully expecting his vocals to have some sort of gimmick somewhere, but he just goes fucking so hard, and it's like seldom does it happen where like I'm listening to a band and like the vocals actually make me go, cool, fucking hell, like that's sick. And that happened like multiple times on this record. But yeah, I'm gonna segue into the bass for you, Gary. But
do it.
Shit. So with like the bass, like obviously any band that has like that fretless trumpet fucking sounding bass, like that's an immediate like switch off for me. Like I don't care how good it is, it just ruins it for me because it just like takes me out. For some reason, I don't know if they are using a fretless bass on this, but it's like it has kind of that tone, but it's really fucking sick and it's really satisfying. And it's just like so smooth and buttery, and it just like it really complements the music instead of like taking you out and taken away from everyone else's performance, because I know the spotlight doesn't really get shone on bassists, so usually I can understand why it happens. But yeah, this guy, whoever he is, just fucking slapped it out of the park.
Absolutely, man. Like you're right. Like I'm pretty sure it must just to get that like that sort of sound. You need to be playing a fretless bass, but there's just something. He hasn't gone for, someone get me the Beyond Creation bass tone and let's just go. He's really like focusing on making sure it still sounds heavy, especially when he gets his thumb out and he's like, and he like really like fucking flees it up and just really like punches the shit out of it, and that just gives it so much more oomph and presence, and it still sounds like a bass. It doesn't start sounding like someone's playing a synthesizer or something. It still sounds like a human being actually like hitting strings, and that works so well. And just the performance is just absolute virtuoso level. Like it's outstanding. I mean, to be honest, everybody's performance on this album is virtuoso level. Is like, I don't think I've heard something as technically impressive, but yet they don't get, like what you were saying about gimmicks. Some bands, their technical level can become their gimmick, like
Archspire.
And it doesn't feel, art. Like somebody said, like you both, exactly, Archspire. It becomes like, listen to how incredibly technical we are. Our songs have absolutely zero heart to them.
Rings of Saturn.
Yeah, Rings of Saturn. Another one.
Fuck that band.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, boof. But you never lose the emotion and the feeling when you're listening to like this Job for a Cowboy record. It's always there. It always feels like real people, not just trying to show off for YouTube. It just feels like people actually like putting music in from their heart to record at the same time as being outstandingly impressive. Like I don't really know how you can pull it off, but it has been pulled off here. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, it does rip. Like I'm not getting down on it at all. Like I just wanted to put that out there initially to see if you guys had that same sort of
I understand. I understand where you're coming from for sure, because it is just a bit of a it's like a magic eye painting that you have to sit and stare at for ages and kind of wait for it to sort of come through. But like that experience of just sitting and waiting for it to come through it's just done it for me, man. I've had such a fucking sick time with it.
It's just a vibe of an album.
Yeah,
it's a big vibe. It's a vibe. It's like
it's a vibe, mate.
It's like it's the tech death fear inoculum.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that comparison. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like I'm just saying, like I was saying with the track things, I struggled to pull out individual tracks and go, I really like that bit and I really like that bit, because it's all just so sort of like elusive and like trying to.
And to be honest, I'm actually quite glad that you've had that same problem, because I think maybe that's my problem, because I don't have like these necessary like that minute, that like hook at 4 minutes is like a big. It's just a spectacle, which is fucking cool, and it's allowed to be, which is sick.
Yeah, mate. You just got to kind of let yourself go. Just
submit yourself to the void.
That's it, man. It's like going out in a sailboat and then taking your sail down and just seeing what fucking happens.
Just let yourself get eaten by the sun.
Absolutely.
Or healed by the moon, whichever.
Healed by the moon, depending on what time of day it is that you went out. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's fucking cool. And every now and then when it all kind of like solidifies and they just give you some chunk, Like those little moments, they're like little islands you can just kind of rest on for 10, 15 seconds. I'm like, oh, this is fucking sick. And then your back it's really enjoyable. I find that a really enjoyable experience, but I can understand why some people might be like, I'm a bit lost here and I would like some footholds.
Maybe being lost is okay, you just enjoy the experience of it. And
it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
That's it. That's it.
I was literally about to say that. Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah, fucking dude. Hell yeah.
You do a lot worse than listening to this fucking record. It's badass. It's called Moon Healer by the band Job for a Cowboy. Check it out. Son, we got some brutal news we want to chat about, haven't we? Which is nice. It's been a while.
Yes.
Some singles out and about in the world.
Some lovely singles.
We've got the death metal correspondent here, so it makes sense for us to start with the Gatecreeper single, right? Fuck
hell yeah.
Banger. What a fucking banger.
Yo. Like right, it's gone melodeath as fuck, right? But it's absolutely sick. The thing is, like, As I Lay Dying were onto something, right? We can all agree they were absolutely onto something. It wasn't like trying to kill your wife, but it was like making the best of fucking sick melodeath riffs. And like, this is like what Gatecreeper are doing now. They're just absolutely, I really like that sidestep in the sound. It still sounds fucking hench and badass, but a little bit of lovely melody. Fuck it, it's wicked, man. I'm keen. It's kind of cool to see them evolve slightly. I'm sure they're not going to completely, throw away their old sort of vibe. We've seen them experiment on that EP with like sort of a grindy side and then the doomy side, and then now we're getting like this melodeathy side from them. So like they're really showing us that there's a reason that they are like one of the most hype bands in the scene. They're one of the sort of like unanimously adored and enjoyed bands, and it's fucking I was well up for this, mate. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so good. I mean, like, whenever a band that you hold in such high regard like puts something out new, and especially when they're at this like point in their career, it's always a little bit of a worry. Buzz is like, any worries I had were just like, oh yeah, this is fucking sick. And it's just like it's just such a natural progression, and I'm pretty sure I knew that this was like kind of the way that they'd go. And yeah, it still sounds like them. It just, and the sort of like licks and the melodic parts, like you can like backtrack through their other albums now and kind of like pick out bits that were kind of like that before anyway. So it's just like rose to prominence, and they're just leaning into it. And the sing-along thing, whatever it is, like Tanks Roll On or whatever, is so fucking hard.
Yeah,
hard as hell.
Isn't the song about like a ghost tank or something like that?
A ghost tank rolling over zombies, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Like the thing is, it is like I was surprised by how melodic it was, but like I feel like Chase has almost doubled down on how hard he sounds.
He sounds like a god, doesn't he?
To keep the balance and not like become like a mellow death band. Like he's like, no, I'm gonna go 3 times as fucking hard just to make sure that we still say fucking hard. And also that towards the back end of the song, when the snare starts sounding like it's a literal like metal tin, is fucking so cool. I love that. It makes it all just sounds really. I just think it sounds really sick. Like, I've been vaguely skeptical on this band in the past, and it's taken me a little while to really like fall for them. But I'm in so far now on this. I can't wait to hear what a full length sounds like, especially with Kurt Ballou on the little slidey jobbies on the old mixing desk as well. It's gonna be fucking killer. I'm so keen on it.
Yeah, and it might not be an exact signpost to where they're going. Like, remember the single From the Ashes? Maybe it was like really Amon Amarthi. Remember that track? I think it might be From the Ashes. I might be completely wrong. It was something off the previous album.
Deserted.
Yeah. That was really.
Yeah, you are right.
Another fist pumper.
That was an absolute, that you could hear the tanks in the background. The tanks were coming at that point. Like you could definitely hear the tanks rolling in on that one. And, that necessarily wasn't the sound of the entire album. That was just a nice little sort of addition. So it's going to be really exciting to see these singles, and can't wait. That's going to be some absolute heat, Gary. Cannot wait for that shit.
Oh yeah. Absolute heaters.
Another single, right? From a Second Story Window put out a single this year. Is they're words that I just didn't think would be coming out of my mouth. We've had brilliant we talked to Drew from See You Next Tuesday last week, so it makes total sense that there's a From a Second Story Window record coming out, man. Just these
what year is it?
I know. It's about Darkest Hour, Job for a Cowboy this week, and now From a Second Story Window.
Oh my god! Yeah, this thing, dude. That was very cool. I really like it it's quite a sort of a statement of intent rather than like a track that it's got all these just crazy cool bits that go together. It's got this big, weird, nasty mosh. It's got this fucking massive chorus. It's got this big groovy outro with some of the most gorgeous fucking song vocals. It's very cool. Like I could not back this enough.
Mate, it's fucking wicked, isn't it? I was well shocked. I don't know why I was so shocked, because The Lender is a fucking awesome record and they were an incredible band, but it's been years. I'm just looking, Conversations came out in 2008, so they've not done anything for fucking ages, and they just come out and release this, and this song's absolutely mind-blowing. It's got loads of awesome ideas all crammed together. Most of them shouldn't even fucking fit together, but they do, and they managed to pull it off. It's really fucking incredible. And like you were saying, that melody in the back end of it is fucking wicked. It's so cool.
It's great, isn't it?
It's so cool. Fair play. Obviously there's a lot of bands coming back from the past to pop back up and say hello, and I'm glad that From a Second Story Window are one of them, because this. So it's called So Say We All, by the way. We missed that bit, but I don't know if it's from a record that's coming out or what. I'm not sure if it's just some random one-off single, but I'm sure you wouldn't go to the amount of effort that it would take to put this song together if it wasn't part of a larger body of work, would you?
It sounds like it's like a sampler in one track, isn't it? It's definitely it must be part of something larger.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And we'll be talking about the new Abacab single next week. I don't know. For real? What's going on?
I wish.
I actually did just, as you were talking about that, I got a notification pop up on my emails, something about the red chord. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
To me today. We got an email about the red chord. I was like, oh my god, that's a reissue. The first album. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But the red chord are back and doing bits, so you never know. I mean, you had Coalesce as well last week, didn't we? Coalesce are playing, I can't remember what, but they're playing a festival. So who knows? And obviously Botch are doing things, and Heavy Lolo are doing things, and there's so much
Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. They've just announced a tour.
So much going on. It's exciting.
College me is crazy right now.
Big reunion though to announce just before this. Did you see Slayer are back already?
They've literally just done that because they're pissed off to get the solo project, haven't they? No.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck has happened there. It's just Slayer on the poster is who's it? Kerry King playing instead, or what? I don't even know what's going on.
I just assumed it was just their manager has been like, yeah, fuck it, we'll book them. We'll worry about that closer to the
time. We'll do the counselling with them all together afterwards. Yeah. But, what a way to find out you're playing a festival, reading it on the internet. Oh, okay, cool. I guess we're playing that then. Well, there was what was the other one? It's Couch Slut, wasn't it? It's the other single.
Couch Slut.
Yeah.
Yes.
What? Yeah. they're better than their name suggests, Tom. Just to be clear.
All right.
They're really cool. They're this really cool, fucking trashy. Did we talk about their last record? Take a chance on rock and roll on the show. I think we didn't we, son?
I believe so.
Yeah, they're this really trashy sort of New York noise rock band, but this new track was Ode to Jimbo. It's just really fucking rocking, isn't it? It's got an extra level of like rocky sass to it that just along with that really trashy, grindy, horrible noise rock vibe, I just think it works really fucking well.
Yeah, it's really cool. The track's called Ode to Jimbo. The album You Could Do It Tonight's coming out on April the 19th. Fuck me, is this cool. The production has certainly taken like a upturn on this sort of like sonically oppressive vibe. Like the production's like as confrontational as the delivery now, which is fucking great. This nasty noise rock that hits like a fucking truck and then just parks on top of you. It's fucking hard.
Yeah, man. I didn't know that there was an album alongside it. You kind of was like, we're going to talk about Couch Slut.
Yeah, sorry, I sprung that on you like about 10 minutes ago.
Like, I'm glad you did, because I listened to it a couple of times while I was cooking dinner, and I was like, fucking hell, these bands, they're so sick. And it's like the best sounding thing that they've put out so far, like in terms, like you're saying, production level and just sort of like audio quality. And it's nice that they've got that to match the intensity of their actual playing now. So yeah, fucking wicked, mate. Well keen on that. Add that one to the schedule.
Yeah. And the other thing just wanted to shout out is the fucking Hate Force single. That was an absolute beast. So they've got a new album coming out. The single's called Hateful Creator. It's just fucking awesome. So I'm not 100% on the other members, but you know it's the homie from Harm's Way on vocals, and he's an absolute beast. Put to work on him on Hate Force is just fantastic. It's this really chunky, fucking brilliant death that's got like big, like he's like sort of moving into this like tomb mold realm of vocals, but then it's like this sort of juggernaut mosh riffery like thrown in there. It's just really, really cool, man. Like front to back. Like if if you're into like Flesh Rot and Frozen Soul and that kind of sound, like you're gonna fucking absolutely love this band. They're sick.
Yeah, it's not a band I'd ever come across before, but again, like I'd listened to it while I was cooking dinner, and most of my dinner ended up through the window. Like it was just like it's just really. I had no idea it was the vocalist from Harm's Way, but now you said that makes total sense. Like you can, I can tell just sort of thinking about it. Like fucking yeah, like it's just like roid death, isn't it? It just sounds like it's just people who are as wide as they are tall, just playing absolutely fucking savage death metal. Like it's really cool. I've not come across this band before, and I intend to do something about that now because I really dug that.
It's got the stamp of approval. It's coming out on Closed Casket. I think it's March 29th is the album, which is really, really soon, which is fucking great. It's like, it's out just over a month after the first single. Fucking bang on, mate.
No messing.
Well good.
Hell yeah. Should we get back in our time machine?
Let's get in the fucking time machine, mate. Turn it up to, how many gigawatts is it?
It's 1.21 gigawatts and go to 88 miles an hour. No, we're going to talk about Darkest Hour, 5-piece metalcore band from Washington, D.C. Their new album is called Perpetual Terminal, and it is released on Friday the 23rd of February through Monarch Heavy. Darkest Hour are kind of a band who have legendary status in the scene. It's weird. I've never really been a huge fan of them in the past. Like, I can tell you the song fucking Demons comes on it basically every time I go to the gym on the playlist, and I love it. But like really the only one of their albums that I've given like a lot of time to was Godless Prophets and Migrant Flora, which was the one they released in 2017, which they recorded with Kurt Ballou. And I was immediately drawn in just by the fact it was recorded with Kurt Ballou. I was like, right, well, let's have a fucking go on this. And I had a really great time. It's a really wicked album. But I know you've got a really soft spot for Undoing Ruin, haven't you, son?
Yeah, that like Undoing Ruin 2005 that come out, that was like just, when you used to have the CD wallets with like your 30 best albums in that you'd basically take anywhere. Like anytime you're going to any mates, you'd always have your CD wallet with you. Like that was one of the mainstays of mine, along with, Bleeding Through, This Is Love, This Is Murderous, fucking Rise of Brutality, fucking End of Heartache, that sort of all that. So this is like that album has a massive like place in my heart. Like fucking great album. And I listened to Deliver Us afterwards, and a little bit of the self-titled. But the albums since then, I've kind of fallen off and haven't really kept up to date with them. So when they announced this new record, I was like, great, let's stick this in the schedule, because I'm just genuinely really excited to see what they're up to, like how they're going.
Curious of what's going on. Tom, have you got like a previous relationship to Darkest Hour at all?
No, it's a weird one, because they're just one of those bands that like they tick, like at that point in my life they would have ticked like all the boxes of stuff that I liked, but yeah, just never clicked to me. Just nothing. I tried so many times to get into them, and it wasn't that I didn't like them. Like every time I listened to it, I was like, "Yeah, this is cool," but I just never go and buy the CD. I'd never ever put it back on, and I just forget about them. So yeah, I have no like nostalgic ties to a band like this at all.
It's kind of a weird one, isn't it? Because like, there's a lot of bands in their sort of world who kind of go away and then come back, and everyone goes like fucking nuts for them coming back. But because Darkest Hour have kind of always just consistently sort of been there, they almost kind of fly under the radar a little bit as a result of it. Them and like, Unearth kind of have a similar kind of pattern in that sense, where they were there in the heyday, they were legendary, but for some reason, because they've not split up and then reformed and got everybody hyped for them, their profile is like smaller as a result. It seems a bit unfair, but I guess that's just kind of the world we live in at this point, where nostalgia reigns supreme, and people prefer, like, you get like, I don't know, you get Bleeding Through announced that they're doing This Is Love, This Is Murderous in full at Damnation, and everyone goes, fucking yeah, I'm in. Or like last year when Unearth did The Oncoming Storm, everyone's like, yeah, I'm fucking there, I want to be there. But like Darkest Hour just kind of consistently keep going, and it's a bit of a shame, but like it doesn't really, move the needle so much. But I've got to say, like, I have been fucking absolutely loving this record. I've been having a really good time with this record. It's just full of huge, enormous bangers. Like basically every track is a massive banger, and it also has an absolute face melter guitar solo in it. And they're fucking, when they get into those guitar solos, they are fucking well smart. They are absolutely wicked. I love there's just a vibe to all of them. They just have this sort of, I can't articulate what it is because I don't know fuck all about playing guitar, but there's just something about what they do. It's like understated, but like really, it obviously sounds like it takes a lot of skill to pull off.
Well, they've always had this sort of like thrash contingent, and like that is like definitely sort of leads the charge in how much they fucking rip, and it's nice to see that they haven't really lost that. They've definitely folded in some things that so like when listening to like Deliver Us, they started sort of pushing in more chorusy sort of parts, and they're definitely sort of upping that, as like it seems on the new stuff, but I really think that it's something that should be commended for like not dipping into like that really fucking wet, sappy sound.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
They've found a way to like inject melody into what they do and like create these sort of sing along moments, but it's still really metal at its core. It's like, it's metallic. It's not wet. It's not fucking soppy. It's just like energetic, and it's fucking really, really cool, man. And there's some moments on this album, like Amor Fati, dude, that fucking opened, that is goddamn baby making music. Like, holy shit. I might be 2 weeks pregnant right now. I can't be sure. I think I might be.
Had to take a test after you listened to it just to be certain. Yeah.
I had to get a clear blue.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, yeah, it would be really easy for them to just get one of them really nasal singing like good cop bad cop vocal styles, but they keep it proper metal. Like you're right. I didn't realize that was like a thing that had been theirs for a long time. But you kind of look back on the old scene and you'd be like, Bleeding Through, they were the gothy one, and like obviously you had like As I Lay Dying before they fucked up. They had the whole Gothenburg thing going on, and I don't know, Norma Jean were the Jesus-y one, again, before they fucked up. I didn't realise that being the metal one of this scene was like Darkest Hour's thing, but it totally makes sense because this record does have much more of a tip of the hat to the sort of traditional and the the kind of classic,
Yeah.
not classic, not like heavy metal like a Judas Priest or something, but like thrash and like the kind of the big four and that kind of thing. Like there's much more of that hallmark and that kind of watermark on what they're doing. It's much more present, and I really liked that. And it does make the whole thing feel much more urgent and exciting, and like they do switch up what they're doing with in like most tracks, and I really enjoy that. There's not like a sort of set, this is the Darkest Hour formula for how we write a song and we're just going to do it 10 times and call it an album. Like they've actually thought about how the album rides, and you even get like, even when the fucking acoustic guitar came out when they were doing in the song Mausoleum, I was like, yeah, all right, I'm into this. And I usually fucking hate acoustic guitars, but I do like the way the song like ramps and it becomes something like really big, and then they peel out the big solo at the end, and it's just like, yeah, I'm fucking into this. I was really down with it. Like I feel like I fucked up by not being more of a Darkest Hour fan back in the day, because if they were half as good as this back in the day, and the chances they were probably better, because generally most bands unfortunately tail off a little bit, like, then I'm fucking in. I'm keen. I need to go back through and dip into the older records.
Funny what you say there about like, 'cause that's like one thing that I wrote about like this sound compared to like what they were before, and I had to like kind of like go back and be like, oh, well, did they always sound like this? Because this is like way more thrashy than like what I remember them sounding like. And I think this album, while nothing really like jumped out at me, like this album just has like a lot more of like an urgency about it. And I feel like this is actually probably better than what I'd listened to before. And I'm not just saying that because of the Blackened rip-off at the very start of the album.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a nice icebreaker, wasn't it?
Yeah. That sold me. If they were going to lull me in with anything, it was going to be that. But yeah, like I found it to be really enjoyable, but it's still the same story for me. Like I'm not going to be sticking it on again to listen to it, unfortunately. Like, and it's a weird thing because it's like, it's not bad. Like, it has all the things that I like. Like, the guitar solos fucking rip. Like, all the riffs are, like, tight and fucking sick. The vocalist, he's well good, but it's just something, for some reason, just never clicked for me. And that still isn't gonna. Sorry, Darkest Hour.
I would say one thing that we probably do need to shout out is just how brilliant he still sounds vocally. Like there are a lot of bands that put out albums consistently, and there are a lot of vocalists that sort of take a dip. They just they just hit a point where, I don't know, they toured too much, they partied too hard, they just fuck themselves. But he has it still. It's absolutely just bang on.
He sounds better now than what he did.
Yeah, he approaches things with so much energy, and there's so much sort of scorn and grit in there still, and that's just fantastic for a band that have been consistently doing it.
Yeah, it's that track. I think it's I want to say it's Prayer to the Holy Death. I think where like the chorus is like, you listen to that and you're like, that's what Sam Carter in Architects is trying to do, but for some reason, it's just something about it. When he does it, it feels hollow to me. But whereas when you get it in this Darkest Hour record, it really feels like he's putting his entire fucking throat into what he's doing, and he just sells it more to me as a vibe. Like, it's funny. Like, there's a lot of bands who are obviously inspired by what these guys do, but they just seem to have just kind of homogenized it, and there's just a bit more of a passion coming out of this Darkest Hour record than I hear from like 95% of modern metalcore bands. And it just kind of shows that it's not just a young man's game. Like, a lot of people would assume that metalcore is a young man's game, and as you get older, you kind of age out of it and you age into, I don't know, death metal or like doom or something. Like, you age into something that's a bit more like age appropriate. But like, it's just proven that Darkest Hour have just kind of proved that
you hit 40, you just listen to Sun.
Absolutely, mate. You just give up.
You stop music altogether. You just start listening to Tone.
They send you the tote bag and the patch in the post on your birthday.
Yeah, and the baseball cap to hide your bald head.
Yeah.
Everyone's away.
It's a teeny weeny beanie.
Little fisherman job. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not trying to suggest this is one of the greatest albums of all time, but I just had a really good time listening to it. I think it's really full of hooks. It's really catchy. Every song has got a really like a big moment in it that makes that song really stand out and feel like it's an important part of the record. I just think it's really fucking cool. I've had a great time with it.
Yeah, like it's I don't think we ended up talking about the Unearthed record from last year.
I'm not sure we did. No.
I think I prepped notes on it, and it just came out at a time when we just didn't fit it in. But it's like I get the same from what I got from that record, where I was like, "Oh shit, it's been a while since I checked in," and I was just absolutely stoked. Like it really, really, like, really, really, like, just happy that they haven't, just gone to that like inevitable sort of watering down or compromise. It's still very much Darkest Hour. Yeah, maybe there's a couple more choruses than I thought there was going to be, but they've made it their own and they still keep things fucking metal, and that's sick.
Yeah, dude, gotta be commended. It's definitely worth checking out. If you're a person who grew up on this band, I think you'd be really pleasantly surprised by what you hear from this new record. It's called Perpetual Terminal, and it's by the band Darkest Hour. Give it a fucking go.
Hell yeah.
We talk about a young band to end. They're called Inferious. They're a 5-piece deathcore band from Dayton, Ohio. This is their third full-length record. It's called Salt Your Earth, and it comes out on Friday the 23rd of February. I believe it's being released independently. So Inferious are a band that I've been sort of keeping a little eye on for a while. I've been a fan of what they've been doing, but I think they kind of got stuck in a lot of what's trendy in deathcore, doing like the big, maybe not necessarily symphonic, but like the big sort of slammy type stuff. And what they've gone for here is they've just gone, let's strip away a lot of that shit and let's just really focus on hitting everyone really fucking hard. And I really think it's worked. This album, it's funny. This album, they don't sound much like Kubla Khan, to be honest, but it reminds me of Kubla Khan in that kind of less is more, keep it simple, stupid kind of approach to doing what they do. Do you agree, son? You must agree. Surely.
I tell you what I get from this, and this is just fantastic. Like, Pain as Power is one of the greatest albums of the last 10 years, undeniably.
Yes.
And this band have a lot of similar DNA with Justice for the Damned. They are. I really enjoy what they're up to. They're bringing, it's like moshy metalcore, like with the deathcore production and deathcore sensibility. Like there's sort of like this grandeur to it that you can't really get. It's like doing like what Inferious would do, but with the weight and the sort of darkness of deathcore, which is fucking just, that's kind of what you want, isn't it? Like just mosh, but harder and darker and bigger. And I really, really like it. I think if you enjoy bands like Justice for the Damned, like maybe like older, like Honest Crooks, that kind of vibe. I mean, they're both Australian bands, right? I can't believe this band isn't from Australia, by the way.
I was really surprised when I was like, this band.
I would have put money on that.
Australia, surely. But no, they're not. They're American. I was quite surprised by it. But like, it's just you're right. There's a lot of that DNA, that sort of varials and body snatcher, and just kind of like, you sort of think a deathcore is an amalgamation of death metal and metalcore, and then metalcore is an amalgamation of metal and hardcore, and it's just the hardcore part kind of gets smaller and smaller the further away from it you get, and the more you mush genres together. And the band have gone, no, we need to like make sure that we focus on keeping it like dancey, keeping like people can two-step to it, people can like get stuck into it and like not get completely lost, especially not getting completely lost in just doing those like slam breakdowns that a lot of deathcore bands go for.
Oh mate,
just go boo, boo. Like, no, do something riffy and do something fun and up tempo and make sure to keep everyone excited and keep the mosh pit moving. Like, don't just everyone just stand there and go, oh, that's a big sub drop. Like you need to just keep everyone. No, I'm not dissing sub drops, Tom. Sorry, I really
no, sub drops are the one.
I'm starting to get fucked off there.
But yeah, you can't just do a sub drop and turn into a goblin for 4 seconds.
Yeah,
like,
that's not a riff.
Every time.
That's not a riff. Just hitting one note for 8 bars with a sub drop is not a riff. We like riffs. We want riffs. And Inferious, I think they feel the same way, and they really focus in on that. And I'm not sure where you're going to be coming in on this one, Tom, because I know you're not really you're quite anti-deathcore, and I wondered how you would feel about a band that sounded like this. But I thought maybe you might be a good man to have on board as the voice of reason, because me and Son do have a tendency to get lost.
This is kind of like this is kind of like on paper, like we're already in for. So like we might just be like we might just have complete rose tinted heart eyes glasses.
Absolutely.
No, like it's a bit of a weird one for me because I don't know anything about this band. I didn't look them up. I didn't do anything. I literally just took it for what it was. And to me, like, I don't think it even sounded like deathcore to me. I think what it sounded like to me, and bearing in mind, like, Kubla Khan, I think I've listened to one record, like, in the gym. The other bands you mentioned, I don't think I've ever heard of.
Is that because you did? Is that because you listened to one and you just become super hard off the back of it? You never needed to go back to the gym. No, that was it. You just maxed out every machine.
That was 2 years ago, and I went back to the gym on Monday, like to get my fix. But yeah, like to me, this sounded more like that sort of like mid to late 2000s, like heavy hardcore before deathcore and that sort of things sort of started to get mixed together, you know, like before, because you wouldn't really would you call like the Acacia Strain and Despised Icon like deathcore bands?
I generally don't like to call them deathcore, but I do. But I understand how people call them deathcore. But I would call Despised Icon deathcore. I just don't with the Strain, but I think that's just because I hold them so precious. But there is that incredibly heavy, like, and it's kind of I would definitely agree that they're of that same DNA where it's still got so much hardcore in it, but it's produced and has the weight of deathcore, which is making heavy things heavier, which is things that people should be commended for, right? Like,
I think you hit the nail on the head there. But so that's kind of what I took away from it, and that's kind of like that sort of like whole, because I'm not really a fan of the Acacia Strain. I know that's blasphemy on this podcast.
Tom's not coming back.
Despised Icon.
It's nice knowing you, Tom. How'd you kick him out of the Riverside recording?
But so it's just I'm fully aware that like this is just like not for me. Like they didn't make this for people like me, and like I appreciate it. Like it sounded fucking sick. But like nothing really like sort of jumped out at me. There's nothing to make me go like I'm converted to this kind of music now. Like it was cool. I enjoyed it like while it was on, and like I say, I think maybe like not looking them up and all of that kind of like added to that experience, and that's kind of cool.
You telling me you didn't enjoy some of the really amazingly angry lyrics, like "No respect for a rat" or "I'll make you dig your grave, fucker," stuff like that? Like, you didn't enjoy that?
I like rats, so like, why would you not respect a rat?
Tom's got rats. Have you got
so many great lyrical moments? Have you not got a rat?
I've not got rats.
I'm sorry. I don't want
you got a ferret.
Since his mum did. But rats are sick as fuck and well good.
Yeah, they are.
Like tiny little dogs.
They are cool. They are really clever. No, they're really intelligent animals. You can train them and all sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking cool.
Yeah,
there's like, what's the best one, Sonny? Your Final Meal Full of Lead. Was that your favourite one?
Mate, that is it. In Pest, a final meal full of lead. I like The Reapers Come to Kill Me, and I really like that track, Join Me in the Misery. I really like that sort of melody they put into that, but it doesn't make it a chorus. It just makes it like this sort of melodic thing that people can grab onto, and like it's going to really sort of make their like live show just absolutely pop off. Really, really cool.
You just imagine people just are going to want to nick the microphone well bad, like some of the mosh moments. Like, cowards like you are better off dead. We'll break your fucking neck, like stuff like that. It's just cool. He's just fucking really, really angry, and I love that. And I don't know, I'm still living out my teenage angst, even though I'm nearly 40. And every time you come across a band and there's just a geezer just like getting real fucking pissed off on mic, I'm just like, yeah, I'm in. I'm down for it, mate.
Fuck yeah.
Just blunt force hard nut shit. What more do you need? Like, it's nothing like technically mind blowing. Everything's just sort of quite like just sort of solid, but it all comes together in a really nice tight package, and as a result the record's just a lot of fun, and I had a real great time listening to it. I'll jam it. It's kind of become one of those, like, I sit at my computer and I'm like, what do I want to listen to? And if it takes me longer than 30 seconds to think of it, I'll probably just pop this record on. I've been having a really good time with it. Yeah,
nice.
I've fucking enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it too, son. And
who
Tom,
produced
we'll
it?
discuss the Acacia Strain at a later date. And
we'll be calling you in for a disciplinary.
We will. We'll get HR involved because that's not enough.
I like the end bit of The Hills Have Eyes. That's sick.
It's good of you.
We'll take that.
I don't know who produced it, son. I think it's all independently done, to be honest. I'm not really sure, but I believe that they've just kind of done everything off their own back. They're like relatively small bands. They've got quite a good little online following going, but they're not big in profile in any way. Just something I've come across, probably one of those like, as a related artist on the Acacia Strain that I've never listened to before. Let's check it out. And I was like, oh hello, this is pretty cool. And then the new singles really took my fancy. So I was like, let's fucking get stuck into it. And I'm glad it's as good as it is. I really enjoyed it.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
sick.
I'm in.
Yeah, Salt Your Earth by Inferious, also out Friday. That's some good ass listening. I mean, people are just going to be like sat staring off into the middle distance, listening to Job for a Cowboy, and just sort of look at their watch and realise that the whole weekend's gone past them and they didn't notice because they're just completely zoned out to it. And I'm okay with that. I think I'm going to be one of those people. So yeah, happy days.
Fantastic, mate. There's some fucking riffs around. There's so much cool shit come out. Like, there's a thing that I really just wanted to shout out, like an EP that I've been absolutely banging. It's by a band called Of Grace. They basically they play like if you're into Viljata, if you're into like Thor. Fuck me, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to bring it up on my phone because I'm a dickhead. There we go. Yeah, I wanted to check what the EP was called because I thought I'd got it wrong, but I think it's just called Of Grace. So that's probably why it wasn't coming to mind. Yeah, it's a 3-track single, or EP, whatever you want to call it. It came out on the 13th of January. It's 3 tracks. It is some of the moodiest, brilliant Thor that I've heard. It is fucking brilliant. I love seeing bands sort of spin out that sound. Like, this is my favorite thing that sounded like that since that Behold the Void album absolutely fucking blew my tits off in 2020. Yeah, really, really cool, like brilliant little Thorley EP.
It's
definitely
cool,
get it down. Yeah,
baritone sung vocal going on as well that was really interesting as a sort of strange kind of thing to blend in, because like, though as a genre, the rules of Thor are quite prescriptive, and so as a result, it's difficult to stand out. So coming up with an idea like that to throw in there really made it sound interesting. God, you'd hate it, Tom. Trust me. You'd fucking.
Oh, really?
You fucking hate it. No, he might not.
We've got traditionally when you come here, you've got to tell us about the new hype death metal bands we all need to be checking out, Tom. Got a couple of bangers on deck. Should have warned you in advance, but you always manage
Gary,
anyway.
You can't go doing that.
Honestly, I reckon the last 2 times you've come on the show, I've done this to you as well, and you're like, oh shit, and then you just whip 5 out your ass from nowhere. So I'm sure you'll be fine.
Oh fuck, you're gonna have to cut the big gap out here.
We're leaving it in. We're leaving it in. No. I listened to something today that was pretty cool. We got sent a new record. It's not coming out for a little while, but Witch Vomit, are they a band you're aware of?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, right. They're sounding fucking good. I'm sure there's a single out there now, but the album's due out April, and I think it's going to be. I've popped it in the schedule because I think it's going to be one to talk about for sure.
Brilliant.
There's the Dipigus or Dipigus album just came out. They're a fucking skits band.
Yeah?
Yeah,
how
really.
How is this band's name?
Dipygus.
Okay.
Just a fucking rank death metal band, like horrible. I haven't listened to the new album yet, just because I've obviously just been listening to Job for a Cowboy. But yeah, it's just such their discography, like that they've released so far, like everything's been so good, and something that like when I've listened to it, it's been in like high rotation. But yeah, that's definitely one to check out. I'm trying to think what else. he says as he scrolls through his Bandcamp collection.
Have you checked out the Holder record from a couple of weeks ago?
Hulda.
Holder? I always assumed they're a black metal band.
Yeah, I guess like mostly they are, but there's a lot of like old school death metal and going on in what they do. Like there's I guess maybe it's more in the mentality than it is in the actual like the songwriting so much, but it just has like a bit of an old school death vibe going on amongst this like really sort of crypty, horrible, icy black metal vibe. I think you might dig it, man. It's a good record. It is a good record.
If it's got riffs, I'm down with it. I mean, that's my main.
It's not just like tremolo chords. Like there's riffs going on all over it, mate. Yeah. I think you dig it.
That's my main qualm with black metal is the severe lack of riff.
Distinct lack of riffs. No, I can understand that. I can understand that. That's taken me a while to get past as well.
Yeah. And then obviously we've got a new Slime Lord album coming out soon as well.
Yes,
that is absolutely TBD on this podcast.
Yeah,
man, for sure. That's nice. It comes out in March, doesn't it? I think it comes out pretty
soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting about that one because it's out there. It's an out there record.
Up for that.
It's an out there record. For that. It's cool. And
I've got something right that I got something that I found the other day, and I haven't even. I wanted to like wait for the podcast to shout about it. I haven't even posted it in the Discord, Gary. That's how much restraint I've shown and how fucking banging it is. There is a really fucking amazing black metal record that came out on the 19th by a band called Chapel Perilous. The album is called The Tower of Silence, and I listened to it a couple of times on the bounce, and I reckon it might be like points on the board for Black Metal Album of the Year. It is really cool melodic black metal. There is absolutely no half measures. There's sort of additional sort of keys and things like that all over it. It is really, really cool. If you enjoyed like recent stuff like Spider God and that Byzantine record that I was like absolutely in love with, this is something that you're really going to enjoy. I'm absolutely certain a lot of the homies are going to dig this. Go and check them out, Chapel Perilous. They've got like not many monthly listeners. They're from Australia. That just means it's going to sound fantastic, like at a base level. So you should all get involved. This is like buy low, sell high in black metal. Chapel Perilous, that album is fucking brilliant. I really think if it gets ears on it, it's going to be all over the shop.
I'll definitely check that out. That sounds good.
Speaking of chapels, do you guys like Chapel of Disease?
That was the like post black metal type thing, wasn't it? From the other week.
So they're like
is that Chapel of Disgust?
They're like a death metal band, but the guitarist is like quite obviously like inspired by Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits. So his like way of playing riffs is like so fucking weird. But I haven't checked out the new album, so I can't speak for it. But I've just seen that they've got a new album out, and their last album was like one that's just fucking weird death metal. Like it's very different. So yeah, I'd definitely recommend that.
That's cool. Yeah, check that out.
Nice. I put them on that list for you last week, Gary. You said you didn't like it.
Oh, was that the band? Okay, all right. I'll take it back. That
was going to be part of my February Bandcamp bangers.
Oh, mate. I completely forgot. Well, I apologise. I apologise to both of you. I forgive you for not liking Acacia Straight now, Tom. Because
okay, cool.
It's all is forgiven.
Yeah,
mate, it's been fun. Thanks a lot for coming, Tom. Where people see you playing with Incantation is the next month.
Yeah, April. So from April the 2nd till the 7th or 8th or something. So it's like the first week after Easter.
Cool. Oh, and you're going to Dublin as part of the tour as well, right?
Yeah, man.
Is that the first time you guys have gone over across the Irish Sea? Is it the Irish Sea? It's the Irish Sea, isn't it?
Yeah, let's call it that, yeah. It will be.
The Irish Ocean.
I'm so good at geography. Yes, the Irish Ocean.
The Green Sea.
The Irish Estuary. Yeah, first time ever playing over there ever. And
awesome.
I just can't fucking wait, man. Like, I have no idea what shows are like out there, but hopefully they'll welcome us with open arms.
I'm sure.
Are just interestingly, how are you getting there? You're not gonna do the ferry, are you? Because that's so fucking long.
We're gonna do the quick ferry. So
right.
we're gonna do. There's one that's like 3 hours apparently.
Yeah,
Is that
I
the
did
long
that,
one?
but you have to. Yeah, but you have to drive all the way to the very furthest regions of Wales before you get there, and it was the wankest drive. I did it. We took the dog over to see Jolene's parents and stuff, so we did that. It was so long. But
we
if you're not driving, you could just have a nice time.
We are going from Manchester as well. Because Manchester's the night before, helps. So that'll probably help. It's not like we've got to drive up from fucking Portsmouth or wherever. Yeah.
It was so brutal, dude. It fucked me up, man. It fucked me up.
Yeah, I can imagine that's treacherous.
That was.
But then, after that, then we've got fucking Download Festival, which will be fucking nutty.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Is that a first for you as well? Playing Download?
Yeah. First time ever. I mean,
fucking sick.
First time ever playing like a, Damnation is obviously a proper festival, but first time ever playing like a proper outdoors summer festival.
Fucking sick. You on deck for the whole weekend, or are you just there to play?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like the main band that I wanted to see was Pantera. Don't cancel me. And we're playing the same day as them, and Dying Fetus, obviously. But I think the other days are all like pretty stacked. But yeah, we're definitely going to be there. I've got our accommodation booked for like the entirety of it. Yeah, so can't wait. Man. Are you guys down?
No, I'm not doing any festivals this year because we're doing a baby.
Oh, fuck yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. The baby is due August 2nd. So I'm like committed to not doing any Augusty or like for any time after that festival stuff. So in terms of festivals, me and Gary are trying to go to Fortress Festival, which is like this black metal thing that's going on in Scarborough, which looks to be very, very fun. Hoping the old press skis will pull off for that. Fingers crossed. That should be really fun. So I'm not doing any sort of like outdoorsy festivals this year.
No. Good reason. But again, congratulations.
Thank you. We're really, really excited. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be so, it's just going to be so mental and weird. I think maybe I might try and pivot into being some sort of unbearable dad influencer.
Yeah.
Do you think we could pull that off?
You could be the first metal dadfluencer. I reckon that'll work. You can make that
maybe.
The first not annoying dadfluencer.
I'll try.
He doesn't promise that.
Yeah, no, we're really, really excited. We should find out the sexy in about 4 weeks, hopefully. We'll see what it is.
Whatever it is, they're going to be a metalhead.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been putting Annihilation of the Wicked on by Niall just when Jolene's asleep. She doesn't know it's on, but I know it's there.
Resting the headphones on her stomach at night time. It's going to come out doing the metal horns.
Just keep talking about Glenn Benton at breakfast. Jolene's like, what the fuck are you on about?
Floating the name Glenn for a boy. We should either call it Glenn or Corpse Grinder, I reckon.
That's what I was going to say,
yeah.
Oh dear. We should probably wrap it
Corpse
up.
Grinder Taylor.
That's a powerful name, isn't it?
Rolls off the
tongue. Oh, mate. This has been a lovely, lovely bunch of riffs. What a lovely week, Tom. It's always a bloody pleasure having you here. Mate. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Love being on here. It's always good to chat.
Yeah, man.
We a beautiful face as well now that we're in the YouTube realm.
We're in the realm for them too, bruh. Fucking amazing. Thank you all for listening and potentially watching if you did. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.